there, everybody. Welcome to Shared Screens Media Club, a place where you get to sit down and discuss all your favorite pieces of media, except books, because they don't count. Joining us today is Austin J. Ernst.
That's me. Hello.
We've got the guy who likes the worst Indiana Jones movie, Bret Jamerson.
Wait, do you like the movie? You like the movie?
Its time is coming. Its time is coming. That's all I'll say.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what's real with you or not sometimes.
Neither do I.
I feel like that's half the fun of Bret, though. It's like Bret says things, and none of us know if he's serious or not, and it's kind of fun.
Neither does he. Is the thing. He has no idea.
And the voice you heard right there was also a person whose mind's dream is two Oscar Isaacs in the same place. It's LeighErin Jazz.
That was good. Yeah. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good moment for me. I'm not gonna lie. It was a good moment. At first, I was like, this might be a little goofy, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna choose to appreciate it. But it's going to spark some weird fan fictions that I don't want to see on Tumblr.
Oh, I was about to say, I cannot wait for when they introduce the third one and we could have a fuck, marry, kill with the three altars.
Okay, here's the thing that I don't like with and we'll get into this, but like they're very clearly implying that like Jake Lockley is going to be the hyper like aggressive. And so I was watching it last night and I was like, there are going to be two things that come out of this on Tumblr. Fan fictions about them fucking each other. Oh. And fan fictions with him being like, with Jake being like Christian Grey, because there are going to be people that are going to be, there are going to be girls that are like, that one, that's the one I'm the most in love with. Yeah. Listen, and that just like, I hate
every generation needs the character that awakens some sort of kinky renaissance for that decade's teenagers. Okay, we've had Robert Pattinson's, we've had Edward Cullen, we had Loki. Sure, Jake Lockley's next. I don't know who came before.
Do you think Edward Cullen is violent?
No, but he was the direct source of 50 Shades of Grey, so I'm assuming that for multiple people out there, there was something kinky about him
there was some connection. Okay, because I was going to say, he is famously not violent. He's famously a little bitch in those movies. Because he doesn't fight.
I don't necessarily think the characters need to be violent. I just think the characters, there's just something about the aura of those characters that make people go, they need to tie me up.
Guys, one day I'm going to make Jordan watch the Twilight movies. One day.
No.
Have you never seen them?
No.
Jordan has never seen them. I
used to trash on those.
I have verbally explained.
I used to trash on those books so much in middle school because I knew they were shit. Somebody was like, "You can't trash them if you didn't read them," and I went, "All right, bet I'm gonna read all four this summer just so I could tell you how stupid they are." And I couldn't get past the first one. It was so fucking dumb.
Okay, here's the thing: their romance is meant for teenagers, so it does not surprise me.
I was 14.
They did not. Oh. Sorry, teenagers that are attracted to men.
And those are two different things.
I have no rebuttal for that one.
Yeah,
but like, I was 14. No.
Like the first line, you're like, oh, this is going to be some angsty romance. And like, I read them when they came out. They're fine. They're not, God's gift to literature, but they're not the worst thing I've ever read. Like, they're written fine.
I remember watching them when they're at their height, just to be part of the conversation, and I was like, I guess I'm Team Jacob.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I had younger sisters, so inherently there were sleepovers at my house where groups of girls were watching Twilight, and I was just like, no. I did start reading a book series in 8th grade and in the beginning of high school. That was like the first one was called 8th Grade Bites. And like each year had like a different color scheme of like this vampire teenager in a hoodie. And it was a very different teenage vampire story. Like this one was very much targeted towards boys. And in one of the books, he finally kisses the girl he's into. And like the line is like, oh, he wipes her lip gloss off his lips after because everybody knows vampires don't sparkle. And I was like, that wasn't subtle.
No. Everybody latched on to the vampires don't sparkle thing, and I was like, why is this what you're mad about? Why is this the part of the lore that you're having a meltdown about?
It was a really funny part. I remember in the theater seeing that, and I was like...
It's hilarious, but there's a part of me that's like, you know what? You wanted to have a quirk with your vampires. You picked a really ballsy choice, and I kind of respect it.
Okay, so the quirk for the vampires in the book series I'm talking about was that they had been around forever and were actually technologically advanced rather than regressed, and that vampires were the people who invented the PlayStation was part of the plot.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
And like, that's fine. Like, that's a normal, logical thing. If I was writing in a character flaw, if I was writing in a character flaw,
inventing
that's what I would put in.
Inventing the PlayStation is not a character flaw.
Or not a character flaw, a character quirk. That's what I would put in. choosing to make them sparkle like their skin is made of diamonds is not. That would be something that I'd be afraid of people thinking was cheesy. And she did it and committed to it for 4 books. And like, I have to respect that. I have to respect how much confidence she has in herself.
Did she get inspiration from that one dude in James Bond Die Another Day?
Possibly.
Remember,
she also went on record once and said she wanted to be the next J.K. Rowling, and that's really funny to me. It was funny to me then. It's even funnier now.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna preface this with fuck J.K. Rowling. But half my hatred for these books in middle school and high school came from the fact that people were trying to pit them against Harry Potter.
Yeah, everybody was like, they're like Harry Potter. It's like, there are 2 separate genres. Like, you cannot, that is like comparing apples to oranges.
I think what it was is, this is a young A novel, but even then, calling it young A seems not incorrect, but like, it's not like Divergent or the Hunger Games.
Everybody was trying to be, I mean, it absolutely is, but you've also never read the Hunger Games.
I've read the first 2.
Moon Knight.
Anyways, Moon Knight.
I was going to say, I'm 6 minutes in. Okay, today we are discussing Moon Knight, episode 4, The Tomb. All right, guys.
Guys, I have a chart.
Before we get to LeighErin's chart, that she's very proud about, I will give her an A+ sticker when this is all said and done. What are our thoughts on the episode?
This is my favorite one. So,
really?
I mean, I don't have too many. I have like scatterbrain thoughts. I feel like when we get into discussions about certain aspects, I'll be able to do that. I didn't take any notes this time, but like this was like from start to finish, the way it's paced, I really liked it. Like where like it kind of starts off with like a little bit of mystery, and then it goes into like the kind of like a horror element with like that creepy whatever those things.
The Hecka priest.
And I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the characterization of Layla not needing any help and just taking care of shit, which I think kind of destroys a few things, but like I enjoy I enjoy the push there. And then it goes into like a lot of things where I have more theories about the show now, because like once he gets shot, my brain just went wild after that the whole segment. I was just like, okay, like there's so many options for this now, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
intriguing.
So there were parts of this episode I really liked, but there was also like some sections in the middle where the episode kind of lost me. Part of that might be the fact that like I didn't want to stay up till 3 a.m. last night, so I watched this when I woke up. But because of the way my room is laid out, there was glare on my TV, and so the dark scenes, there were certain scenes where I'm like, stuff's happening. I don't know, but stuff is happening. And so I think that part of the reason the episode lost me is because I truly couldn't see what was going on in certain things.
Yeah,
that sounds like a you thing.
Well, I heard other people say that too, that they watched it.
That like it was too dark of an episode.
Yeah.
That's usually something I bring up, and that didn't happen for me this time. So
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it without there was no glare or anything on it. So like,
because you watched it when it dropped, didn't you?
Well, yeah, because I had to.
Yeah.
So how my schedule lays out, I have to watch it when it drops because I don't have time before we record usually.
Yeah, so I might have to rewatch it in the dark and see if I like it a little more.
Oh my god.
I was just gonna say on Austin's comment about getting a shot. He got shot. And I was like, oh, like that is where the heart is. But you know, it's a superhero thing.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, it's a superhero thing. People can always. And then he got shot again. I was like, okay, this one's gonna be tough to come back from.
He's not fucking around. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Can I just say the very opening? I love this episode, but the very opening when they're like having the whole thing with the 2 trucks. And there were 2 things that I was dying laughing and had to pause it and like leave for a second. The first was when Layla's running around the truck to get in their Jeep to like get the flares and everything, hiding from the pickup. There's a wide shot where you just see Steven's body just on the ground, just laying in the sand.
Just chilling.
And it's just so funny because his body's just there, but it's like she can't carry him. Like, what is she supposed to do?
Is that when they shine the light on him? Is that what you mean? Or...
Yeah, when they pull around and the truck shines on him. And then so she takes the flare and throws it in the box of bullets. Great idea. Really smart. That is exactly what would happen. Lots of shrapnel, little explosions. Cool. But then it goes wide. And Steven is just standing there looking at Layla like, what the fuck was that? Like, what the shit?
The expression he had on his face didn't seem like, what the fuck was that? I thought that was the third altar, like, in that moment. Because it looked very puzzled, but like a different demeanor than what I thought. But yeah, turns out that wasn't
funny that it pulls out to him just like,
Yeah. But
Yeah, I took that
like,
completely
I
differently.
feel like he also just kind of gave her a nod that was like, "What's up?"
Yeah,
I feel like it was
that's
probably
awesome.
just like the moment you wake up from a nap and you're like,
Well, that's the other thing that's
Huh?
funny to me is that this man woke up in a different patch of desert than they were to Layla throwing a flare and then an explosion, and it's just like, what happened?
Those
Like,
flares came in clutch for her this episode.
she likes her flares.
it's great. I love it. I love Layla. Fucking Layla. I went from not giving a shit about Layla and not caring if they gave him a love interest in this or brought in that kind of character at all to I would die for her, and there's stuff on my chart that like if it doesn't happen, that they've hinted at that if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna have a meltdown. That 10 days ago I would not have given a shit about. But like here I am.
Can we talk about them kissing? Like Steven and her kissing?
It's gross. It's gross. I
Okay.
wrote kill
Really
me.
weird.
Why?
The
it's
timing,
gross.
the timing.
No, it was not the timing. Could have
Because
been
she
better,
wanted to
but-
kiss him, and then he pulled away, and then he
But
went in awkwardly.
that's not the thing that was weird to me. The thing was that like he came from like an up and then went just for her top lip. He didn't go for her mouth. He kind of went like
I think it was meant to be weird.
Yes.
It like grossed me out. Like I was like, oof.
It
I
was
don't know.
gross.
like Steven's a virgin, right?
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
I don't just think he's a
like,
virgin.
This is
Like,
his first kiss.
Okay, yeah, like
This
that
is
was his first kiss. Like this
I
was
just like how LeighErin took literally 0.006 seconds. He's a virgin, right? Yes.
Yes.
but like there's virgin, then there's like first kiss. Like this is a seventh grader in the closet in a game of Truth or Dare trying to figure things out.
Did you catch the line where she's like, "I'll go down first," and he went, "Thank you."
Yeah.
It's always about something else.
I also like that like 2 minutes later where Mark just makes him punch himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that
It
was.
reminded
I
me
thought
of
that
Fight
was.
Club.
I thought that was gonna be the third altar. Like,
Punching him?
yeah, like it just taking over violently and then
Oh.
going rogue. But
Well, I think it was a comedic beat because
Oh, yeah.
Mark was punching him for kissing Layla.
mhm.
Yeah.
The other reason that it bothered me is there's like a well-documented thing. The way Oscar Isaac kisses in anything he's in is really weird. He leads with tongue. It's very weird.
Good for him.
Anything you watch him in, if you watch like him kissing somebody, he grabs them like this, goes to kiss them, and it's automatically tongue. And like I have to find there's a Tumblr post about it that I'll have to send on Discord.
Like a
that like
frog.
breaks down like nine of his different movie roles where he does it.
Like a frog.
Yeah, it's just his thing.
Here's
Cool.
my tongue.
Or
You
he'll
earned
do
it.
like where he kisses them for like a second normally, and then you see the tongue go in their mouth, and it's like, all right.
That's what you
But
see the
this
ass
was
guy
just
going,
I don't know. It was like it just. It felt
I don't know, I'm
so
stuck on the
wrong.
top
It
lip thing.
felt
Again,
so
again,
Her
I
wrong.
bottom
I
lip
do
got
think
no
it was-
attention.
I do think it was purposeful. I think they, I don't know. There's something about it where it almost felt like too much.
Yeah, I understood that like that was the point, but like I don't need that much like. Ugh.
I also thought it was really weird how Layla leaned in first. Like,
No, Layla. There was a point where Layla wanted to kiss him, and he was like, "No, Mark's gonna be mad." And then he was like, "You know what? No, I earned this."
Yeah,
But
but I
it's
feel like
also, like-
Layla wanted to kiss him because of Mark. It had nothing to do with Steven in that moment. At least.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. I think no matter how much Layla wants to differentiate Mark and Steven, to her, this person that is in front of her is always going to be Mark, and I can understand how that is a hurdle for somebody that is tough for somebody to get past. But I
not what I'm
think,
getting
and I think that Steven, to her, like, in certain scenarios is sometimes the ideal version of Mark, where he's a little bit more relaxed.
Steven is emotional and tells her what the fuck is going on in her head and doesn't say cryptic ass shit like you never actually knew me even though we were married for 10 years. Like that's why there are always more secrets. Steven doesn't
we
do
needed a
that
woman to
shit,
explain
and
it.
she knows. Dude, I watched the scene and I was like, this is gross, but game recognizes game. Because
Also,
like
is it
truly it's I don't know. I don't know
say yes.
how- I don't know because of course there are people like in the world
But who's
who
it
have
on?
DI. What?
Who's it on? Like you said, it's cheating. Like who's at fault?
Well, both of them, right? Takes two
Yeah,
to
it's like, that's
tango.
where I'm
I'm
like-
asking.
Takes two
And
to
I'm-
tango, man.
And
I
I'm sure
understand that, but like I don't know. I feel like the initiation of it was on Layla's part to begin with. And that,
But it's
I
not
thought
like
was
Steven's a
super
guy at a
weird.
bar who doesn't know she has a boyfriend.
Okay, but also like I also like there I feel like that's a very if it's cheating is a very personal thing because of course there are people in the world who have DID and are in relationships and like I feel like that's a very personal every couple has to figure
Okay,
out like
follow-up question. Is it polyamory?
shut the
God damn
fuck
it.
up. Anyways, but you know, so this is what this situation is. She has her husband who is an emotionally stunted piece of shit who like cannot express his feelings if a gun was to his head
But is
and
hot
says
and can get the gun out of his head.
and it's just like he has good qualities. He's emotionally stunted, but he's like a person you're like she's attracted to and it like has feelings for. It's just infuriating how he handles his emotions. So then he's not here. You haven't seen him in however long, but you know he can see everything you're doing with this other guy, but you don't necessarily feel guilty because this other guy is still him, kind of. So like, and Steven is very clearly into you and it has that emotional thing. So you can kiss him and maybe it's a little mean to the virgin to do that, but your boyfriend that's emotionally stunted sees it and goes, I have to step up. And like, he gets jealous, you get to use that. It's a whole fucking thing. I get it. I get the motivation on her part.
Don't cross LeighErin.
It's definitely a situation that needs a lot of communication. Like communication is always key, but this is a special situation, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. If it wasn't like a personality thing, it'd just be another dude at a bar, you know. Your boyfriend's there or your ex.
But what I'm saying is like that's very. I feel like you're gonna have way less people disagree that that's not cheating. Like again,
when you
what
do it with,
cheating
like, a
is at the end of the
bar,
day is to certain extents is on a couple by couple basis. But I feel like if you were to ask this situation and describe Steven as another man at the bar, 90% of the population would be like, yeah, that's cheating.
Yeah, I should say like don't do that if you're in a relationship. This is coming from like on again,
If
off
you're in a
again
serious relationship, if it's like 3 months, what do I know?
No, Jordan.
He's joking. He's joking.
Shut the fuck up, Jordan. But yeah, I get it. I get the motivation because like that's like perfect is when you have somebody who's giving you all that emotional shit that you want and your ex can't see it, but he can see it here. He has to experience it and can't do anything about it and like I get it. It's a little fucked up, but I get it. Anyways,
Okay.
Brett, how did you like the episode?
I thought the set design was amazing. I don't think this was the volume thing that they use for like some of the like maybe they use it sometimes during the episode, but I felt like a lot of the tune was like actual like
It felt
sets
practical.
that they built. Yeah,
they
it
did
was
a
super
lot
cool.
practical for the show
Yeah.
too.
It was actually on location. That was actually Alexander the Great's corpse.
They found it. Wow.
Yeah, they found it.
Um,
Imagine that came out. Disney
Well, so what's
discovers
funny is
Alexander the Great's lost tomb.
I
while
googled it,
filming.
and apparently in October of 2021, certain people in Egypt claim to have found it.
Yeah, but they didn't. Didn't they realize that it wasn't actually his?
Yeah, but
Or are
like
they
what I'm
still
saying is,
figuring that out?
there was no definitive answer from what I was able to read very quickly. But still, it's like, oh, apparently like, this is a thing where like people think it could legitimately be in Egypt.
Yeah. Because Alexander the Great, like when Steven's like he insisted he was Egyptian, that's true.
Yeah.
Alexander the Great, even though he was not Egyptian, insisted that he was.
He was like obsessed with it.
Oh, he was the first cultural appropriator.
Yeah, like that's the whole thing. Like yeah, like he's another one who's like a lot of people are like the Great is not a good quantifier for him because he literally just like went across the continent of Europe and Asia conquering things until his army was like, our map ends here. We're gonna get eaten by monsters if we go further, so we're going home. Yeah, but you can stay if you want, but
Alexander the Problematic doesn't flow off the tongue the same way.
No.
Also, him calling him Mr. Great was hilarious.
I did chuckle. I'm so sorry.
It was funny the first time. The second time I was like, all right, dude, we got it. We heard you.
Nope, I thought it was funny every time.
And the two other he names Nefertiti and somebody else. Those are also Egyptian pharaohs that we have no idea where their tombs are. They've never been found. Yeah.
Have we looked? Have we retraced their steps?
Realistically, what it is they were found by grave robbers like years ago, and there's nothing left of them, and we probably have found them and just don't know. Austin's lost.
What was so funny to me? Just Jordan
Have
going,
we looked?
there's just a dramatic pause. And he goes, "Have we looked?"
I meant to say, have we looked hard enough? Then I was like, no, I'm gonna go with retrace our steps. Like,
Um,
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, again, Harrow is just a very interesting character. Like, anytime a villain is like so comfortable with like or like who they are, and like when he was just sitting down talking to Layla across like the chasm, I was like, dude,
such a
this
good
guy.
scene.
That was
Yeah.
weird though, to me. I like the scene. It seemed oddly placed in this moment of like crisis.
Yeah,
Like, there are like these things. There could be more of them around. You don't know. There's also this like this squad of mercs around here. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, we're gonna stop and have this conversation.
Harrow
right
has the
now
confidence of a
across
man.
this hole.
Whoa.
Harrow has the confidence of a man who knows that an Egyptian goddess will keep him from dying.
right.
Like, the man
Yeah.
walks on broken glass.
But
I
yeah,
did like the
he's
scene.
on
I
his
just
own
thought-
timetable.
I was like, now, right now.
Yeah, that.
Harrow's on his own timetable.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know how many like people he has with him, but he has like 40 or 50 or whatever, and like it kind of was insinuated that they didn't know where to go, and they were just running around the entire maze, like shooting all the, what were they called, LeighErin?
Heka priests?
Yeah,
They're on
all
my
the
chart.
the Heka priests. Which, by the way, that anytime like somebody's like clicking and stuff, like that always like throws me off. That's like
I
so.
took
This,
that-
this felt like
That's
the
weird,
Last of
man.
Us TV show
I
already.
took that as
Yes,
like
exactly.
echolocation stuff. Like,
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's
They
why she
removed the
threw.
eyes?
It was literally The Last of Us. They're right there, but they can only hear with sound. So she takes
They
a
not
brick
remove
and she throws
Did
it.
you remove the eyes?
Yeah, they removed the eyes. That's why, along with the tongue, why that dude was
Oh.
clicking.
how do you click without a tongue?
Like you're not,
Like
your entire tongue isn't out. It's just like,
Ooh.
So
Right.
yeah, they can only get it as far as they can pull it. There's a set of tongs that they use, and it's only as far as they can pull it.
Some
And
people
then
have,
they
like,
would cut it
freakishly
there.
long tongues too. Like,
Yeah,
If
like
you-
Gene
long.
Simmons.
To be fair, if you lose your tongue, you can talk, but you have no enunciation because your
Yeah.
tongue can't touch the top of your teeth and your lips to make certain
That
sounds.
makes sense.
There's a scene in the 1999 movie The Mummy where somebody loses their tongue and tries to talk.
There you go.
We should have put a counter in this series of how many times LeighErin references the Mummy.
It's not my fault.
Well-
Everybody on Twitter is doing it too.
this show, like literally,
I feel like this episode especially.
yeah.
honestly.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
yeah,
It's not just me.
yeah, very, very Indiana Jones and Mummy inspired. Which I always, those
Totally.
movies are just, peak like movies to watch when you just want to have a fun time. I
Yeah,
think they.
Jordan, watch the movies. They're
Did
great
they?
movies.
Wait, you haven't seen what, Indiana Jones or the Mummy?
Jordan hasn't seen The Mummy.
Okay.
I've seen
I mean-
it, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I should start with the Tom Cruise one,
two.
right?
No,
I haven't
dude,
seen-
The
don't
first
even
two
get
are good.
started.
The first two are good. The third one's okay.
Apparently,
Yeah.
the video game they made for the Mummy movie with Tom Cruise is apparently really freaking good.
Oh yeah,
Like
the
it-
D-make, like the 16-bit.
Yeah, and it has
yeah.
no right to be as good. Like, it's so much better quality than the movie. It's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, just saying, Brendan Fraser movies
That's
are
how
on
it goes.
HBO Max,
Shitty,
watch
shitty
them.
movies get good video games, like X-Men Origin Wolverines.
Anyway, sorry,
Oh,
Brett. What?
Wolverines.
Again with Harold, I love that he just shot up or Steven, like, because
I
like
mean, loved it.
just like another layer to his character in terms of like, oh, he's this like guy who's just gonna like mentally dominate you with like, like Chris Angel, like Mind Freak, like he's just
He is
like,
compelling. I'll give.
he's
him
just gonna like totally like just box you in with words and like mental games, and then he's like, but also I'm just gonna shoot you in the chest if I need to, like
twice.
and I was like, okay, so he is willing to like get his hands dirty personally, which I always appreciate. Yeah, and then the end was like, it was like 3 a.m. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what's
It's
going
too
on?
much.
I'm like, am I in?
This was a bad episode to release on 420. Because a lot of stoners turned
Uh-oh.
on Moon Knight
That's a good.
and watched the
point.
last 15 minutes and cried.
Also, why it's the best episode. to release.
Also, because I don't know if like anybody else here like kind of has heard about the discussion of this show from like critics and stuff, but like some people like because they gave 4 episodes to like all the like top media people.
They say like starts to pop off on episode 4. Is that what you're
Yeah. Well, and also like some people were criticizing the lack of like Moon Knight action, but to me like what makes this show different from the rest of the MCU and just like comic books in general, and like the characters that like he has multiple like alters, and that like that's what makes him different. So like I mean, any like he puts on the suit and just starts punching people. We've seen that a billion times, but like what we're getting in the show, I think is super fascinating with all the unique like storytelling traits.
It's also like an origin tale in a way too for us, the viewer. So like they have to do a lot of like the character itself too, and not just beating people up.
Yeah.
So.
It is weird that their top priority was not to go and get Khonshu.
Well, because Steven was driving the truck. Like, Steven is at the wheel right now, and Steven doesn't want Mark back, and he knows he needs Mark to get Khonshu back. Like, that was the whole beginning 5 minutes.
Yeah. And there's that immediacy to, like, they could be unlocking Amit, like, at any second or at any point. Because the Ushapti things, like, do you just need to, like, throw it on the ground and it, like, the sand just, breaks and cracks and then they're free, or is there like a process to
it seems like a really frail cage for them or whatever.
That's what I'm saying, like there has to be something more to it, but like
what if you drop it on your way to the museum?
I'm just curious on what that looks like, because obviously Khonshu's going to come back. I'm assuming Amit will get unlocked, but like not really.
Was Mark still holding the word you said, the little totems? That is, I forgot what Ashanti or something like that. I don't know.
Ushapti, right?
Ushapti, I think that's it. Ushapti. Was he still holding that when he got shot?
No, I have no idea where that is.
The cinematography wasn't clear on that, because he had it when he was like standing over the tomb, and then he kind of backs away when Harrow and the crew come in, and then like you don't really see it in his hand, or like you don't see his hand at all in the shot, and so sorry, LeighErin.
I think he gave it to Layla. Because there is one quick second where he goes, run, I'll hold them off, where they're standing right by each other.
Oh.
And I think he hands it to her and tells her to run.
Okay.
But I don't know.
If you're planning on potentially dying and you have the MacGuffin of the thing you were trying to do, you probably give to the person who's running. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened to it.
But... Okay, can we talk about the last 15 minutes now?
LeighErin made a chart. Okay.
Are we going to unleash the chart?
It is about time somebody gave me a damn break on this show.
Please carry on, LeighErin.
Okay, so this is my new... If you're... I don't know how we release this show. If you're just listening, I have a trifold board like you would have at a science fair, and it's broken down into pieces.
Whoever's editing this, blow up LeighErin for this part of the episode. I don't know if that's too much work or not. But like, give her the big square.
Give her the
one.
Hi,
friends. So, my first question is, who are the freaky green priests? As I have said, they are Heka priests. Heka is the Egyptian god of magic and medicine. In Marvel, which is this red part here, Heka was corrupted by Chthon, who you may remember from WandaVision is the creator of chaos magic. And so there could be a possible connection between these priests and the priests of Khonshu, because the priests of Khonshu who bring Mark back are very similar to the Heka priests. And so there's a theory that all of this relates to chaos magic. And that, like, because they're like elder gods that have existed since really before the world even existed. So that's who those guys were. So this may tie into like some Wanda chaos, fun times. Chthon is the reason Wanda has her powers. I just wanted to explain that really quickly because I thought it was fun. Next, on the other side, we have the Layla problem. Now, I have a little asterisk here that denotes down here, which is that, so Layla at this point with what they have introduced is basically Marlene from the comics, with just a few things change. And the big things with Layla we have right now are, did Mark kill her father? And who is her father? Now, in the show, Layla's father seems to be the combination of two different characters. Peter, who is Marlene's father in the comics, who is an archaeologist who, is part of the whole discovering Khonshu and that whole fucking shit, and is murdered by mercenaries, and Mark Spector is there when it happens. And he's kind of a mix of another guy named Abdul... Jordan, how did you say this? You said the last name.
Abdullah El-Fawli.
That's his name in the show. There's another character with the same name in the comics who is a character known as the Scarlet Scarab, who is basically Egypt's Captain America during World War II.
Nice.
And he passes down the mantle to his child. They have heavily implied that Layla is going to become the Silver Scarab between a couple of different things. A, the story follows, but B, Harrow calls him the man in the fuchsia scarf with the scarab details. And last week in the episode 3 credits, it was heavily referenced in like the imagery, the silver stuff associated with the Silver Scarab. And it would make sense. So she may be becoming the Silver Scarab. The other thing that adds to it is in the credits, they credited Roy Thomas and Frank Robbins, who were the creators of the original Scarlet Scarab. Yeah, that's who her dad is, which brings us to the middle part of the board. Okay.
Can you tell me and LeighErin have a show where we teach about Marvel? Marvel School for Dummies, available on all podcast services.
So here we have... who was Mark's partner? Because Mark brings up when he's explaining to Layla. Also, by the way, I love that Steven, when she's yelling at him, Steven just gives up the body. Steven's like, never mind, bye. And just gives up the body. And he says that his partner got greedy. Well, who is Mark's partner? As I try to make this board work for me. Who is Mark's partner? In the comics, Mark's partner is a man named Raoul Bushman or Paul Bushman, one of the two. It changes sometimes. Now, Bushman has been confirmed to be in this show. There is an actor credited as playing Bushman, so he's going to roll up at some point. He was like... So Mark worked with like a team of mercenaries that were all led by Bushman. And Bushman does, in the comics, get greedy and murder the entire team that that Marlene's father, Peter, is leading. So, like, it makes sense. It all ties together. Bushman shoots Mark because Mark tries to stop him from killing all of the scientists and the archaeologists. And Bushman shoots him in the chest, and that's what leads to the priests of Khonshu to bring him to the Khonshu statue, where he gets his powers to become Moon Knight in the first place. The next little part, this is stupid, is the bingo cards. Because when we're in the asylum, Crawley, the gold man, is calling bingo, and all of these correspond to different comics in Moon Knight that correspond to everything else on the board here. So you have Moon Knight B22. Moon Knight B22 is where literally Mark Spector wakes up in an insane asylum in New York City, being told basically everything we see Harrow tell him. G15 is where Mark struggles to control his 3 altars. The cover of that comic is literally Mark, Steven, and Jake walking out of a mirror at Moon Knight. It's very cool. Then he yelled T16, which does not exist in bingo, but it relates to a run of the comics that's all about Marlene, Mark, and Marlene's father. I'm really doing my most here trying to keep this board in frame.
Could the T16 be a reference to the T16 Skyhopper from Star Wars?
Possibly. Then we have B7, which is when Mark loses touch with reality for a little while. Khonshu's kind of driving that bus. N39 is when Donna first shows up. Donna is also in this scene holding a scarab, like, plush. And then I6, which is the first appearance of Arthur Harrow. Oh, God. Carly's caller, I got all that. So then we have the ending. Just the ending here. After going on Twitter, I feel it is very important for me to say the ending is not real. This was not a reveal that this has all been in his head. It is very clearly they are on a psychic plane. Harrow literally says it. Anyways, so Mark wakes up in this institution. This happens in the comic, including him and his alters being separate people, as is revealed to us when he takes Stephen out of the sarcophagus. That is absolutely Jake Lockley in that third sarcophagus. So we see all of Taro's goons are like hospital staff. They're the ones passing out the cupcakes. We see all sorts of art about Khonshu. Layla's eating a marshmallow for some fucking reason.
Doesn't that go back to the last episode where she was getting the fake passport made and the woman who
Yeah,
did that for her was
Turkish delight.
Yeah, but
No,
here's
no,
the
it was
thing.
just a
The
marshmallow.
magnet, I think it may have been Turkish delight. There's a whole debate about it. It looks like Turkish delight, but whatever. The thing that bothered me about it is she had the Turkish delight in one hand, and then she started putting those pictures up with white magnets, and I thought she took a bite out of the magnet, and I got really confused. Thank you, Austin. I appreciate that somebody else went through that.
I legitimately thought she was just sticking the pictures on with like bites of marshmallow.
Yeah, like I was very confused. We see the two cops. Their names are Bill and I think Bob. I don't know.
Wow.
They're the orderlies.
Billy
They're
Bob.
the orderlies that go after Mike or Mark.
Mike.
There's a
And
fourth.
in the comics, they are also
another one.
characters that beat the shit out of Mark while he's in the institution. So they're running around trying to escape. We see a lot of other links to Mark and Steven, like somebody's playing with a Rubik's Cube, the cupcakes, the little the print that somebody is drawing of Khonshu on the table where he's an actual bird. Why do I want that? Why do I want it to frame and like have in my home?
It
It's
looks
so
like a tattoo,
cute.
honestly.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought of was like, that's a dope tattoo.
Yeah. Jordan, what would you do if I got a Moon Knight tattoo?
Also,
I mean, what can I do about telling you not to? Like, it's just fuck it.
This is me just interrupting now, but I literally just realized this. You guys might have even said this in past episodes. The fish's name was Gus, as in like sarcophagus. And I just now realized that like while watching this.
I didn't realize he
I
had
was
a
like,
name.
whoa!
Gus
Okay,
is
go
the
on.
key to all this.
Sarcophagus.
Gus is the key. So yes, they're running away. They see the other sarcophagus, just leave it behind, said fuck you to Jake, I guess. And they open the doors and we meet, I'm going to mispronounce this, but Tauret, who is the Egyptian hippo god of protection and fertility. She also has a second name that is like the nurse god. So it's all sorts of stuff about protecting and getting out of there. And it all connects back to Harrow being able to take over the chaos in Mark's mind because he knows like how it all kind of goes. And if we don't get Layla if I don't get a movie called Moon Knight and the Scarlet Scarab, I'm going to riot. Yes, Austin.
Tauret or whatever. From my understanding, she's the god or goddess that helps you pass on. Like,
yes, she helps you give birth and she helps you die.
Okay,
because
The circle of
death to the afterlife,
life.
which comes into comparison with, I'm dumb. The Black Panther thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like the
Where he
herb?
goes-
like the ancestral plane.
Thank you. Yes, that. Like I think they're one and the same, or at least very similar.
Yeah, because the place and LeighErin already said this is like almost like purgatory for like when the Egyptian gods quote unquote pass on, or avatars, or to those gods, or whatever. Like that's where they kind of hang out until they just drift away.
She also has a big role in the mythology surrounding the Eye of Ra, which is like a whole fucking thing that has to do with going in the under, because they thought the sun traveling was Ra going over the earthly plane and then into the underworld like every night, and he has to fight snakes and like
That's a hectic
fire
commute
demons
to do every day.
Yeah, and that's his whole thing, and she's connected to it because she's by some river that has to do with like dead people, and she's a constellation above it looking over them. It's a whole fucking thing. But yeah, that's my chart.
Well done.
Thank you.
Everybody,
I worked really hard on
That
this,
was
not gonna
amazing.
lie.
everybody,
If I
clap
had-
for your fellow student. We're very proud.
If I had thought for this, if I thought of this sooner, I would have printed out pictures and it probably would have been more chaotic. But like, this is a night. I look like a serial killer. Like, this is I just look like a serial killer.
We gotta
Great.
post this on socials or something.
I'm gonna take a picture and like
Yes,
I
please
want to
do.
break it down because I actually I did put a lot of work into this. I'm like half kidding, but like this took me like 45 minutes.
No,
Okay,
Yeah, that's in
I do want to touch on
depth.
something about the ending where like it's clearly like it wasn't all in his head and it's pretty obvious, but I do think the way they set it up is very clever, in which it could be like the way they show references to what we've seen in past episodes in that way. Like you could see it without the context, you could see it both ways, where it's a manipulation or it literally is all in his head. Just the way it's telegraphed to the audience is what I'm getting.
So
Yeah.
I would say,
I know it's not all in his head. I just think
yeah.
the writing is really
I-
well done in scenes.
Yeah.
I took it as one of two ways. I took it as either the show's way of representing to us what is going on inside of his head, / what Mark is kind of now seeing as he plummets to what is essentially his death. We all know there's going to be some sort of MacGuffin that saves him, but man's just been shot twice and is falling into water. His brain's probably going haywire, thinking it's about to die, and this is what he's experiencing. I think it's one of those two, or that it could be read either way.
Well,
I think he's also probably getting laid at the base of a Khonshu statue again, because like man cannot survive getting shot in the chest twice without Khonshu, and that's like established.
I had a
Laid.
theory
Nice.
that I was toying with, where Mark has been dying this whole time, and like he was gonna die, and then it was just gonna be Steven and the other guy, Jake. So like this process is just kind of, because like at the end when you in the ending you see the like room like tip over, and I took that as like the scales again, but I don't. It could be something else. I don't know. But to me, I think this was already gonna happen to some extent. Like I don't think being shot. I think it just sped it up. Like I think Mark might die.
He can't. Mark
Why can't he?
Khonshu doesn't like the other two. Like if Mark dies, it's just over. Like just everything, like the show's over.
Mark dies. The
Because
show's
Khonshu won't
just
work with the
called
other two.
Steven.
well, because I think
I think it would just
too,
be Steven and
like,
Jake. I don't think it had to be over. It's Marvel's like whatever Marvel wants to do with it. I think they can do that.
yeah,
They changed it the whole time.
I would say that him having DID makes this show and character unique that you
No, I
can't
agree.
really like replicate in any other character. So if they got rid of that, I think that would be a bold choice. Bold choice.
And then I also had like I don't know how this would make any sense, but I wondered if Jake was the one who killed Layla's dad.
Yeah,
Because
see,
there's a line where she said, "But you brought a killer directly to him," and then he kind of like hesitated and said yes, and that's what got me like, at least toying with the.
So
idea.
that could be Jake, or it could be Rushman.
No, I agree.
Bushman.
I agree that it probably is
See,
the one. I was toying with the idea that it
is
could be
it
Jake. And I
confirmed-
don't understand how he gets shot. Because he said he
Is
shot
it-
me too.
is it confirmed that the character's name is Bushman? Because that's like some of the stuff about that character is a little problematic.
What was
Yeah, I'm
So-
assuming that's all gonna get rewritten.
Well,
Because
because
Bushman's a-
yeah,
that I pointed
Ducamp.
out.
See, I was like, is
That's
it
who I thought
Ducamp?
they were talking to.
Is it Ducamp that like killed everybody?
Yeah, because
Are they-
Ducamp was on that mission. When
Yeah.
What's
his
wrong
nuts-
with Bushman in the comics? The way he's written.
His name's Paul. That's
what?
wrong.
His name's Paul.
Paul.
Yeah, his name is either Paul or Rodal. It changes back and
No,
forth.
Austin was saying that Paul is the issue with the character. That the name
That's
Paul
the issue.
is.
His name's Paul.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Paul. Are you remember that?
He's just, you know, not. He's a bad guy. Is like, and he's got some really problematic. Like, I mean, it all. I said this to Jordan that like I don't give a shit about them changing Layla from Marlene because it puts in Egyptian characters in a story that is so inherently tied to Egyptian culture, which isn't really there in the comics. And that's part of the problem is like Bushman's operating as a mercenary in like, especially in recent runs, like modern Egypt, like the Egypt in the time that we've been alive. And there are really no Egyptian characters. And like they're very clearly rewriting that. And I mean, the whole team behind the show is Egyptian, and I think they're handling it beautifully and bringing it into modern times. But it's just one of those things.
But if he's
where it's
meant to
like-
be like a villain anyway, I feel like making him a white mercenary in a different country isn't coming off as, you know, like he's already supposed to be bad.
there are just other things that he says, he's just a bad guy. And like there's stuff that he
It's-
says, I can't pull up a specific example
He's
right
a
now, but there's shit that he
bad
does
guy.
that's just like not.
Yeah, it's kind of like how they adapted M'Baku from Black Panther. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
just removing some of the stuff that is not good about that character, but then adapting it to make it like just more palatable and a better character.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the actor that they cast as him.
Is
It's
it?
only showing me pictures and it's not giving me his name.
Let's say they should cast the dude as Grand Inquisitor in the Kenobi show.
In the same costume.
No, they should elongate his head in this
Sure.
show, but not in the Kenobi show.
Yeah, sure, Jordan, in the same exactly.
He was
exactly the
already
same.
on set that day. They're like, yeah, sure.
Uh,
Oh, I guess it's that they've only confirmed that he's in it. They haven't confirmed who's playing him yet.
were they not
Those
at
are-
the
All right,
premiere?
take your
'Cause
guesses.
that was the thing with the premiere of the lady who plays Tauret,
Mhm.
or like voices the character. She was at the premiere like, hey, I'm this person and like I'm in 3 episodes, blah blah blah. So
Oh,
we're-
so she's in every episode going forward.
yeah, we're seeing more of the hippo lady. Yep.
Fantastic.
Hippo lady. Confirmed.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm
Can't
so
wait to see
excited.
her.
I'm so excited to see Jake just be a sociopath.
Dumb question.
So,
Um,
do we think Jake could have killed Layla's dad, or no? Are we convinced it's Paul or whatever?
I think I'm assuming they're gonna keep it being Bushman.
I could see it
Because,
going
and
like
then
either
have
way.
Bushman turn around and shoot him in the chest.
I could see it going either way, but like I'd be like 70% more Bushman, 30% that it's Jake.
I think
What
it's
about-
a possibility.
What about Ducamp?
See, I think,
Oh,
I think they're combining those characters because Marvel does that a lot, where they just take 2 and put them in the same thing. But I could be wrong.
Well, that's essentially what they're doing with Layla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they're combining her with a man and his actual like girl,
Because you-
like wife from the comics.
Because you also got to think too, Austin, is like this is like a limited series, and so they got to like be careful with how they choose and utilize like elements from the Moon Knight universe world, because we're probably not going to get another season of this show, and then if we get more Moon Knight and like an Avengers team up, like they're not going to have the time to like implement all that in an effective way. So
Implement
like
what? Implement what? What
like
exactly?
all the different characters, like if they like the Layla character makes sense for this show in terms of where they're drawing inspiration and elements from, but like if they combine elements from Ducamp and Bushman, like that takes away one villain and one like part of that world in any future stories, versus like because Ducamp is like an interesting and dynamic character on its own. And so like if they like start messing with that, like because you know we might get Moon Knight like in 4 years in the next Avenger movie for like 20 minutes or whatever, where he's here and there and then that's it. So yeah, they just but that could be an argument, I guess, that they could start combining a lot of that, since you just won't probably get much of him.
Yeah,
I feel like
just
also-
speaking along. Sorry, I was more so just speaking alongside that. It's something Marvel has done countless times, where they just
Oh,
take
yeah.
inspiration from 2, maybe even 3 characters, and they just make that a character, like an
Yeah.
amalgamation of all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know. Making his best friend and the guy who shot him in the chest the same character is a little weird. Like I don't know if they I want him to have friends and not just be alone all the time.
He has Gus.
Or not just be with Layla. Okay, but Gus can't help him in situations.
Not with that attitude.
Gus can't fly a plane.
Okay, never mind.
But also, I think we're just gonna get Midnight Suns because I think Oscar Isaac is just gonna will it into existence. He has not shut up about it until since show premiere. Yeah, in a ton of interviews, he's like, "I want Midnight Suns. I want to add Daredevil into it, and I want Midnight Suns."
Isn't that weird? Was he ever in there?
No. Like, I don't know why he wants Daredevil in there, but he literally said in an interview, he was like, yeah, I want Moon Knight with me and Black Knight and Blade and Daredevil. And the guy was like, is Daredevil in Midnight Suns? And he goes, no, but I want him there.
Next question.
Oscar Isaac wants to hang out with Charlie Cox is basically what it was.
I saw
the only thing I know about Midnight Suns is the game that's coming out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I knew the name Midnight Suns before then, but I didn't know much about it.
Fun fact, also the name of a Twilight book. Sorry, Bret.
Midnight Suns.
It's Twilight from Edward's perspective.
Oh no.
I saw some
The whole thing. Did that come out like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
All right. They're still making those? Wow, that's crazy.
They made a new Hunger Games book like 2 years ago or some shit.
Yeah,
right?
but Suzanne Collins is a good writer. Stephanie Myers has just realized she can't. Yeah, Snakes and Songbirds. I made fun of Snakes and Songbirds, but it's good. It's interesting. Stephanie Myers has just realized nobody likes anything else she writes, and so she just re-releases Twilight with a twist every like 2 years.
Into the Twilight verse.
Well, yeah, because it was like she released Midnight Sun, which she had released years ago online, and it got leaked, and she had a meltdown about it and was like, I'm not finishing it now, even though that was only the first 5 chapters that got leaked. Like, I'm not finishing writing that because, like, that was so offensive to me that somebody leaked my work like that. Like, it was a whole fucking to-do. And then, sorry.
I was going to say, you did say she wanted to be like J.K. Rowling, right?
Yeah.
Just throw in random twists out of
Yeah.
the story years later.
Exactly. Like, Jesus Christ. And yeah, so she wrote the entire first book from Edward's perspective. It's really fucking weird. And then 2 years later, they released something called Life and Death, which is the book where everybody's genders are swapped. And because that doesn't work, it ends totally differently than the original Twilight because A, switching it fucks up a lot of stuff, and B, she realized that if she left it ending like the first Twilight book, people would ask her to rewrite New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn all like that, and I just don't think she wanted to. Even though it's really just Control F and changing names and pronouns is all it is.
Was it literally the exact same writing?
It is the exact same book up until the last 5 chapters with just the names and pronouns changed. I don't remember what Bella's name gets changed to, but I know
Bart.
Charlie's name. What?
Bello.
Bart.
Bello.
Is that even a name?
I would love it if that's how she did it, where it was like Bello and
Edwarda.
Or Edwina, the actual feminine. Oh, good lord.
Just change their names to something crazy. Just like Bartholomew instead of Bart. Like, it's always the full name.
Why do I feel like she may have changed it to Bartholomew?
No,
Bo. She changed it to Bo. It's Bo. It's Life and Death. Twilight Reimagined is a young adult vampire romance novel by. No, it's Beaau instead of Bo.
Oh, like Bo Bice.
Yeah, like a Southern man named Bo.
Who's Bo Bice? I know the name. It's not ringing a bell. Why do I know Bo Bice? What is Bo Bice?
Nobody tell him.
I don't know either. I just said yes because, like,
season 3, season 3 American Idol. He came in like
oh yeah,
3rd or 4th place or something like that.
I like how Jordan, for the record, did you know who Bo Bice was?
Nope.
I like how Bret was like, no one tell him.
I know. Here's all the names I know from American Idol: Paula
Taylor
Abdul,
Hicks,
Simon Cowell, Randy Jackson,
Chris
David
Daughtry.
Archuleta, Kelly Clarkson.
Oh my god, yeah, David Archuleta.
What was that dude's name? Shendaya?
Oh,
no, not
I remember a
Zendaya.
dude named Ace who was like the most attractive man I've ever seen in my life.
He was like the
He was like the dude
Roman
that, like,
centurion, like
Shendaya, I think it was.
Yeah, so
that guy was hilarious.
Yeah, his full name is Beaufort Swan, and they changed Edward to Edith, spelled ridiculously.
Beaufort?
Yeah, the full name is Beaufort.
Beaufort
That's
these
not
nuts.
focus, but
This dude's. What is this guy's name?
And then Carlisle gets changed to Carnine.
Sanjaya.
What are
Yes.
these names?
That's
Sorry, Kareen.
Sanjaya.
Oh, I'm not even to the Austin.
And a J.
I'm not reading these to be funny. I'm reading them because they're horrible and I need the reactions.
I would rather
So
this
it's
be named like rocking chair and lampshade. Like I don't care.
Alice
It's
gets
terrible.
changed to Archie. Rosalind gets
I can live
changed
with
to,
that.
or like Rosaline gets changed to Royal.
Why don't I just call him
Um,
Rozzy like he's a fucking New York gangster? Rozzy.
Jasper gets changed to Jessamine.
Jasmine.
At
They're
least that's a
all
name.
unnecessarily weird.
Emmett gets changed to Eleanor.
My
Okay.
cat's name, Emmett.
And then Victoria gets changed to Victor.
That one makes sense.
The bad guy goes from James to Joss.
Now, does she change every single
It's
character or
Joss?
just the ones that would?
No, every character got changed.
So, like
Every single
in
character got
in this
changed.
world, like
Anna Kendrick's character is has
Well,
a
I
boy.
just meant
It's like
more like-
James or something like that.
the Charlie is now the mother, not
Is now a woman. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Why do I know about
she
Charlie?
changes Jacob to Julie, and his father
Charlie
to
the dad?
Bonnie. What? Charlie's
Charlie
the
the-
dad. Yeah.
Wow, I remember saying cool.
Okay, so now the story.
I don't remember names.
Here's
guys.
the thing.
When I remember a
it's
name of a
good.
character, it like blows my mind.
Here's the thing. The reason why this story doesn't work with the genders changed is because now you have a boy that goes to a new high school, and a really hot vampire lady and a really
Oh,
hot
wait.
werewolf both want him, and he's gonna be like, bet. Like, this is the
Wait,
dream.
sorry. Apparently, I am incorrect. Everybody changes except for Charlie and her mother. Charlie and Renee stay the same, so he is still sent to live with his father, but everyone else.
Charlie
Why
Swan is a
change-
Nexus being.
Charlie
Why
could have even
change
been
the
same
fucking-
name, but different sex. Or I'm sorry,
Yeah.
different gender.
Well, I mean, Renee would have to be changed, but Charlie could have stayed exactly the same and just
That's what I mean.
switch the
I,
gender.
that's what I'm saying.
don't
Is I
understand.
think the idea that
I think Renee could say the same
that
too.
character goes to live with their father.
It's not that bad.
But I'm just
Sure.
saying that, like, I don't understand why we can leave Charlie and Renee alone, but Carlisle and Esme have to get changed. Like, why?
understand.
I don't understand.
To bring it to are we still recording?
Art.
to bring it back to Moon Knight. There were a few line deliveries that I enjoyed because with what I know about, God damn it, the hippo lady,
All right.
Arit,
Could we just call her?
I don't know.
Correct.
Could we just call her
Okay.
Gloria, like in Madagascar?
Here's the thing, I can't ever remember names. So when you make them not of like my cultural appropriation for like what I know, it's just never gonna happen.
Not
like
appropriation,
I
just culture, Austin.
can't. Sure. I just cannot remember
Just names that you come from on a day-to-day basis. Listen, I understand, man. Egypt is
Yes.
within the same realm of my culture. I don't
Even
have
if
a
it's
cousin
in my
named
culture, I-
Tawit.
Can't do it. Anyway, she has a line delivery where she's like, "Hi," and like that fits. Like it's cheery, and she's like, "I'm here to help." Like that fits the theory of like she's helping them pass on or whatever. And then there's another line that Steven has when he pushes the table down off that thing. He's like, "I squished him. I squished him. I think I squished him." And for some reason that got me. I enjoyed
No, it was
that.
funny.
That was
Yeah.
another, like, I didn't know if he actually squished him, but then I was like, oh, he's not clicking anymore.
I didn't think he was even close. Like at least I didn't like rewind it and look or anything, but like in the moment it looked like that. Damn it! She brought up the name of those things earlier, and I have no idea.
Hecka
But,
priest.
um,
Hecka.
Hecka priest, thank you. And I don't even think it was in the same scene. Like, like it was just a table falling. That's what I saw. And he's like, I
Yeah.
squished it. And I'm like, oh, okay,
Oh.
cool, good job.
There was a moment where when Mark was yelling at him through the reflector, was like, "You kissed her, huh?" And Steven's ignoring him and trying to figure out where the statue would have been kept. And he starts reaching into Alexander the Great's like mouth. And Mark's like, yeah, dig in deeper, buddy. There was a part of me that genuinely thought that Mark knew it wasn't in there, but as punishment, Stephen was making him dig
That'd be
like
funny.
elbow deep into his corpse before he went like, yeah, no, it's between,
no.
it's near his
No.
legs.
It's between his legs. No, go deeper. No, it's deeper in there. Come on, you got
Yeah,
it.
like a
I
reverse,
was very
Muppet.
proud of myself when they were doing the whole like well, where would they hide it? I was like, it's in the body cavity. You're gonna have to unwrap this fucking thing. It's in the fucking body cavity. I don't understand why they went down his throat that way, instead of just
Yeah.
Because
Like-
then you have to
Maybe
open
they
the
maybe
throat.
they maybe they did it's just wrapped up. You just don't see it.
And like, what's
He did
gooey?
go pretty deep.
But like, also, what's gooey in there? Because he makes a comment that it's gooey, and like, again, if you've watched the 1999 movie, Brendan Fraser movie, The Mummy, or just know anything about mummification, mummies are not supposed to be wet. That's why they remove all the blood and all the organs, and why they're preserved is because they're very dry. Like, what in there is gooey that
Maybe
you're
they did a
touching?
bad
Because
job.
I'd be very concerned. Yeah, but
Or-
then it wouldn't have mummified the way
or
they would have
worms?
opened it, and it would have been mold. No, because
Oh,
they
they didn't?
take everything that the worms would be attracted to out, and then put all this stuff on you so that the worms won't eat your skin. Like,
Something to
they're
do with
supposed to
the-
be.
Your bones are wet.
The mummies were used for kindling. Like, people who would go into tombs would steal mummies and like light them on fire if they needed to. They burn like firewood.
the original Burning Man.
Yeah. Yeah. That was really good, Brett. That was really fucking
That's so good. That's where we
Jesus
need to end
Christ.
things. Jesus Christ. All right, everybody. Well, I hope to see more of the hippo next week. Remember to like,
Sorry.
comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Like.